We are approaching the midway point of the NHL season, and it's our final show before our holiday break. This is the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. I am Noah Bedoris with Jack Rizzo and Noah Seuss. Fellas, it's been a quick 9 episodes, and we're coming up to a bridge in this season. How's it feeling?
It's feeling good. I can't believe we are about 2 weeks away from Christmas here.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely pumped for the World Juniors this year. USA won last year. Trying to go back-to-back would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. World Juniors will be fun. It's been a really fun season to watch so far. So much parity, especially coming out of the East. In the West, you've got the Avs and the Stars just absolutely dominating the league right now. I think we're setting up for a really fun second half when we come back from break for the NHL season.
So I want to open with a fun question. The holiday season's coming up. Seuss, I'll start with you. What do you want for Christmas?
Is it what do I want or what does my team want?
What do you want for Christmas, but we're thinking hockey?
Thinking hockey related?
Yes.
A Matthew Schaefer jersey would not hurt the cause. I love that kid. He's so good at hockey so far. A reason the Islanders are in third place in the Metro right now.
I want Adam Fox to come back. Rangers are really hurting without Adam Fox, especially their power play. Rangers haven't been playing too bad, but they looked really bad last night. They need Adam Fox back if they want to compete this year. So bring Adam Fox back, please.
I have a similar answer, but a much wider scale. I just want a healthy Blues team. In the past 10 days, you've had Kyrou go down, Toropchenko, Walker, and Snuggerud are all on IR. 4 guys that I all am quite fond of. So looking forward to those guys being healthy and hopefully sooner than later. So we're going to jump right into our first accolade of the week, and that, of course, is Player of the Week. Seuss, I'll start with you on this one. Who shined for you?
So this week, we haven't really talked about this guy enough, in my opinion, on this show, because he's had a really, I don't want to say a down year, but it's a down year for Connor McDavid. This week he had 5 goals, 3 assists. Just an awesome week for Connor McDavid. The Oilers are finally back and winning games. The whole year, the question is, when will the Oilers get going? Because when we look at the Pacific standings, you see Ducks, Vegas, Kings. And now the Oilers are finally clicking. The only problem is the goaltending, which is always the problem in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So if McDavid and Draisaitl could get going, like they are, the Oilers could be a top 3 spot in the Pacific, in my opinion.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting about the West right now is that we've talked all season about how close the East is and how much parity there is. But once you get to the wildcard teams in the West, they're all separated by 7 points. And all the serious teams, you would say, are separated by 3. I mean, when you go down to the 7th wildcard at St. Louis, they're 29 points. And the second wildcard is Edmonton, who's at 32. And so this is a race that is going to be very tight once we get into the spring months. And seeing Edmonton pick up the pace offensively and show up in ways that we expect them to, that's a great sign because they're going to need to make some separation if they want to be in this playoff picture in a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when looking at the Pacific Division. I think the current standings in the Pacific Division are what they're going to be pretty close to by the end of the year. I think this is really the first division that really has evened out, and I think this is the division that's going to change the least in terms of standings for the rest of the year. But yeah, you mentioned it with Edmonton finally starting to play better. They still don't have good goaltending, but their offense just does enough every week to help them win games. The Central, again, it's the Avs and the Stars just dominating. You got Minnesota playing better, but I think the top of the Western Conference is pretty set, but these wildcard races are going to be really close. And I think in both conferences, we're going to see both conferences we're going to see come down to the final days of the season of who gets in and who doesn't.
So, Jack, you don't think that Edmonton fills that 3rd spot in the Pacific?
Well, I didn't say that. I said that the Pacific is the standings are going to be just about if they change one, it's like one team goes up, one team goes down.
So do you think that Edmonton's the 3rd best team in the Pacific?
Yes, I do.
Seuss, do you agree?
I don't think the Kings are. I think they're better than the Kings.
Okay, at what point do you think that Edmonton takes the Kings' 3rd place spot?
I'm gonna say I was gonna say before the All-Star break, but the All-Star break's not a thing this year. So I'm gonna say before the Olympic break.
Okay.
And I also think the Central is going to stay exactly the same. The top 3 is going to be the Avalanche, the Stars, and the Wild.
I think I'm okay with that for the Central. I'm going to go even a little bit earlier for the Oilers. I'm going to say by mid-January, we're going to see Edmonton in 3rd place, maybe even 2nd.
I think they can do it by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
By the end of the calendar year. I really do.
Really? So in the next 2 weeks?
With it, yes.
Okay.
They're only 4 points back of the Kings.
Well, let's look at schedules then. Who is Edmonton playing, and who are the Kings playing
Let's see what
to end out this
Edmonton's
season?
got. So they got Detroit, Toronto, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Boston, Minnesota, Vegas, Calgary twice, Winnipeg, Boston.
That's a lot of games
That's
in the year.
a tough schedule, and it's a heavy schedule.
And let's see what the Kings got. Why do the Oilers play so many games?
The Kings got
Calgary.
Flames, and then a few tough games. You got Stars, Panthers, Lightning, and then you get the Blue Jackets, and then you get the Kraken, and then Ducks and Avs. So it's
Tough end to the year,
same
will
amount
say.
of tough games, I would say, between the two teams, but the Kings are just playing so much less hockey.
Yeah. I feel like the Kings are going to have a couple games in hand there on the Oilers to catch up.
So I don't think that Edmonton ends the month of December in third place, just based on this schedule. Yeah, I don't know.
It's possible.
It's
I'll say
possible for sure, but they're gonna have to win tough games.
They're going to have to win tough games, but also that even if they don't win those games, they're going to have more games on the Kings by the end of the year. So even if they have a couple overtime losses,
Sure.
so obviously the Kings can catch up. They'll have games to make up, but I don't think they're ever going to get back. I think once Edmonton goes into third place, I don't think the Kings are ever going to get back into
No,
third
I agree.
place.
No.
I think that the Kings are already outperforming what I expected from them. And once they fall into a wild card spot, I'm not even sure if they're going to stay in a wild card spot by the end of the season.
Yeah, and then you have the Sharks, the Blackhawks,
Yeah.
Utah. I think those teams are just going to fall off.
Really?
I think the Winnipeg Jets, because the fact how bad the Winnipeg Jets have been, and they're still right there. It's like, I think the Jets at some point are just going to heat up and get going.
The thing that the Blackhawks have sold me so far this year because they fit the blueprint that I expect from contending teams. Because there are teams like Seattle or even the Sharks where they aren't quite this, but I expect a top-heavy star. You have the guy at the top of the list, that's Connor Bedard, and then a lot of guys that put up points that are going to support him. You got the Bertuzzi, you got the Nazar, and then you have an excellent goaltender in Spencer Knight. And so I really do believe in the Blackhawks, and I think they're going to be a playoff team.
One thing I just realized is that the Ducks are the only team in the Pacific Division that has more wins than losses.
Is that true? Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
So again, there's a lot of parity in hockey this year, which makes it great. But
A lot
that
of
definitely
overtime
surprises me.
games this year.
Oh yeah,
There's
many.
been a lot of overtime losses.
Give credit
Especially
to the
in the
Bruins;
West.
they have zero.
Yeah, that's true.
In the West, every team besides the Ducks has like 5 or more overtime losses that are in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you would have said the Ducks were in first place in the
Crazy.
new year,
And
nuts.
they're still doing it, which is also incredible. Like they're a team that we keep expecting to fall off, and they aren't.
Yeah, they won 3 in a row.
Yeah. And I'm still not sold on them, but we'll see if they can continue to do this. Let's move on to Jack's Player of the Week. Rizzo, who you got?
We're going to go with the 3-time Stanley Cup champion, one of the best playoff players in hockey the last 5 years, Carter Verhaeghe. The Panthers in general had a great week, but Carter Verhaeghe was really the forefront of that. 5 goals, 2 assists in 4 games this week. Panthers are on a 3-game win streak. They are looking so much better. Matthew Tkachuk is coming back in a couple of weeks. I think this is the point where we start to see the Panthers make this second half playoff push, and there is no team in the East who's going to want to see the Panthers down the road this season.
Yeah. I almost had the Panthers as my team of the week this week. They're playing great hockey. They're climbing up the standings, which is what you want to see. And it's like we've been talking about with all the injuries going on and the potential for some trade deadline moves. If you can just stay relevant, if you're the Florida Panthers, that's all you can really hope for before you get the guys.
I'm going to give credit where credit is due here. Sergei Bobrovsky had a really bad start to this season, but in his last 5 games, he has allowed 1 goal every single game. Like, bro is just incredible. He's the reason that the Panthers are where they are, and he's going to be the reason that they catch the Boston Bruins, in my opinion. I
Really?
don't think the Bruins stick.
Give some credit to Daniil Tarasov, too. Their backup,
sure.
9-11 save percentage in 9 games.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Bruins either as
It's
that
just the
third
Habs.
team. Yeah.
It's just the Habs.
They're just weird.
Yeah. I mean, the whole rest of the Atlantic, yeah, I would take the Habs as that third team. And I don't think that Detroit stays as the 1.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't even think they stay in the top half of this division.
Really?
I think Toronto comes back. I think even Ottawa comes back.
I think that Montreal comes back as the 1. I really believe in Montreal still.
I'm going to say Tampa.
Tampa's at the 2. I don't mind
It's
Ottawa
tough.
as
It's
the
really
3.
tough.
I don't mind.
or Florida.
This is going to be such a fun division by
To
the
watch
end of
at
the
the
year.
end, yeah.
I think Buffalo's the only team I'm counting out of the playoffs right now in this division.
And they're going to be the only division in the East that has wild card teams.
And the Sabres aren't even that bad this year.
No, the Sabres have been playing spoiler. I feel like consistently I'm trying to make a pick for team of the week, and I find a team that climbs some numbers in the standings, and then I click on their schedule, and they went 3-1 with 3 great wins and a loss against Buffalo.
Yeah, it's always Buffalo.
It's always Buffalo.
Spoils the fun.
Now, I will say one interesting thing looking at the standings is that if the season were to end today, every wild card team would come from the Metro, actually.
I know, but I don't expect that to.
No,
to be
I
the
don't either.
case.
I'm just saying that's an interesting thing to think about. Also, the Devils are in 6th place now. When did that happen?
I will talk about the Devils later, but
I don't think the Penguins and Flyers are the wild card teams at all.
No,
those teams are going to
fall. The Penguins are a team that at one point I predicted to be this year's Capitals, and I'm starting to believe in them less. Islanders, I don't believe in. Flyers, I don't believe in.
You don't believe in the Islanders?
Not compared to the Capitals or Hurricanes or Devils.
I'll talk about the Islanders in a minute.
I know you will.
I will.
All right. My player of the week will stay in the Sunshine State, as Jack Rizzo did, and that is Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers. Sam had an excellent week. 3 goals, 5 assists in just 4 games. Had a 3-assist night against Columbus and a 2-goal game against Utah. 0 penalties in that game as well. Not much else to talk about because we've already talked plenty about the Florida Panthers, but Sam Bennett and Verhaeghe having some excellent weeks trying to boost this team back to what they expected at the start of the year.
Yeah, there's so much talent on this core. You look at the core group of guys, even without Tkachuk and Barkov, you have Bennett, Marchand, Reinhart, Lindell, Seth Jones even getting into it. It's a great group of guys. If they get Tkachuk back and they keep playing like this, it's going to be very dangerous for every team.
Sam Bennett wasn't even one of those guys a week ago, but he just put up 8 points in 4 games.
He's kept going.
So he's already 5th on the Panthers in points.
Yeah, he's a super hot and cold player. I mean, he won the Conn Smythe last year.
Right.
It was incredible in the playoffs. Again, just wait for Matthew Tkachuk to come back. This power play is going to only get better, and I can absolutely see Florida adding another offensive player at the trade deadline. They're always aggressive. They're always looking to add pieces. Maybe they get a veteran, maybe they bring Tarasenko back, or
I could see it.
Or Patrick Kane.
I don't
like
see either of them really putting up productive numbers on a team like this.
If you get them in the Florida system, you never know.
Florida's
yes,
sneaky.
but just because of the depth and because of the guys, putting a veteran who is well past his prime, I don't think will put up productivity.
Aaron Ekblad's been really bad this year.
Yeah.
It's like, is he the worst, besides Nail Yakupov, is he the worst first overall pick in the modern day era right now? Is that bad to say?
It's not a bad
Probably
take.
Alexei Lafreniere.
I forgot about
Lafreniere's
him.
pretty terrible.
Yeah. He's not bad, but he's not a number
Not
one
what
pick.
you wanted, yeah.
Yeah, he's not Tim Stützle or anybody else who was number one in
Or
that
Quentin
draft.
Byfield.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Connor Bedard when he was supposed to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Team of the Week. Seuss, it's your time.
It is my time. So the team of the week is my team of the week is the New York Islanders.
I wanted to pick them, but I knew that you would want some Islanders time.
You knew it. This Islanders team is rolling, ladies and gentlemen. They have won 4 out of their last 5. Only loss is to the Florida Panthers on the back-to-back when you're Dave Riddick in net. Sorokin is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And this Islanders team has been rolling. Bo Horvat, key reason why this team has been scoring goals. Him and Barzell. If you put them on the same line, it's going to work every time. And credit to Matthew Schaefer. He has been the light of this Islanders team, and I think he's going to win the Calder this year.
How about this Islanders penalty killing? Seuss,
Yes.
I'm sure you know this very well. I mean, they've been like a bottom 3 team in killing penalties every year for the last 5 years. They're 5th best in the league right now, and I think that's a huge reason why the Islanders are having the season they're having. Now, granted, their power play has done basically nothing. I'm looking at it right
Same
now.
old.
Yeah, 5th worst in the league, but they're going to kill penalties, 5th best in the league, along with this great goaltending. They're just not going to give up goals to anybody, and that's going to allow them to win any game. I mean, the Islanders are a team that could win any game. I mean, we just saw them beat Colorado, their 2nd regulation loss of the season. They beat Vegas. Yeah, beat Vegas. Back-to-back games they did that. The Islanders are rolling right now. I think they bring a lot of good vibes, I feel like, with all these players. And I really think that the Islanders are absolutely a threat to make the playoffs in the Metro Division.
I will stand by what I said, that I don't believe the Islanders are a playoff team. But I do believe that if they make the playoffs, this goaltending tandem is so consistently good that they're going to be a problem for teams in the postseason. Because that's an issue that a lot of teams face, is that you're playing games so consistently and against the same teams and in a 7-game series that when you have, Ilya Sorokin playing 7 straight games against whoever, Carolina, that's a tall task. But when you have two guys that are going to be able to carry that load, I firmly believe that they can be able to hang because of that depth in goaltending.
And you got to remember, Palmieri's hurt and Romanov's hurt.
Yeah.
So they're really relying on Emil Heineman, Jonathan Drouin, those type of guys to step up. Emil Heineman is the most underrated player in the National Hockey League. I would like to thank Noah Dobson personally for that one.
I like Noah Dobson a lot.
He's been okay in Montreal.
I'm sure, well, going back to what you said about Carolina, Sue, so I'm sure you want nothing more than to face Carolina in the playoffs and get some revenge on them. They've knocked you out quite a few times in the playoffs.
Yeah, I am excited to see what this Islanders team does just based on how their top lines are scoring points. Like you have a Bo Horvat that has 31, and then Matthew Schaefer as a rookie is at 22 points. That's third on the team. And then after that, it's a lot of parity. So I'm going to be interested to see who kind of shows up as those guys, the high point scorers for this team, because that's an issue for them personally, is just seeing where the offense is going to come from when you get into the dog days of this season.
Yeah, I really think it's going to be Jonathan Drouin, because he really hasn't had a big goal scoring streak yet. So I feel like it's coming from him.
He's at 3 goals, 12 assists right now.
Yeah, he's been really passing the puck a lot. So it's coming.
Jack, who's your team of the week?
I'm going to go with the team I picked to win the Western Conference this year, the Dallas Stars. They are absolutely rolling right now. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it because everyone's just talking about the Avalanche and the fact they have 2 regulation losses. The Stars are right behind them. They are 21-5-5 on the season. I think you can make an argument that they have a more talented roster than the Avs do. You just look at the group of guys they have. Mikko Rantanen's got 42 points. He's in the hard conversation. Jason Robertson's been incredible. Wyatt Johnson, 22 years old. He continues to shine. Miro Heiskanen, one of the best blue liners in hockey. They have a nice goaltending duo. Casey DeSmith and Jake Ondra have both been really, really good. Casey DeSmith has a .920 save percentage. I feel like that's been one of the stories on our podcast this year is all these good backup goaltenders
I know, it's been great.
who have all been playing really well.
I really am excited to see who's going to get moved just because of that.
It's going to be a wild trade deadline. Now, I will say about Dallas, they did just get a big injury news. Tyler Seguin tore his ACL.
They are so injury-ridden.
Especially Seguin. Seguin, every year it's a big injury with him, which really sucks because he's a really underrated contributor on this Dallas team. Their power play is dominant. Their penalty killing could be better, but when you're scoring at the rate you are, when you have these amazing goaltenders, that really doesn't matter. And the Stars, we know they're an aggressive team. I think they're going to look for another defenseman at the trade deadline and possibly assert themselves as the team to beat in the NHL going into the playoffs.
I got a few stats for you, Jack, and then a question. Comparing the Avs and the Stars. We'll start with the Stars, all right? Goal differential plus 29, 47 points. Avalanche goal differential plus 48, 49 points.
Wow.
The Stars are only 2 points behind the Avs with 17 less goal differential so far this season. So my question is, how does that happen? What's the difference? Is it the goaltending or is it the offense? And do you think that the Stars will pass the Avs at some point this season? Not necessarily by the end, but at some point, will the Stars be the top of the Central?
It's the penalty killing. The Avs are the 3rd best penalty killing in the league. The Stars are middle of the pack. So the Avs just don't, when they get on the penalty kill, they don't give up goals. Dallas is towards the bottom of the league in killing penalties. So I think that's the main difference because both teams have great goaltending duos. They both have their stars that they rely on in the offense. I think the Avs, though, are just a little bit better at scoring 5-on-5 as well. I mean, when you have Nathan McKinnon out there on the ice, he makes all of his line mates look better. I mean, we've seen the impact that he's had on Marty Necas already. So I really think it's 2 things, penalty killing and Nathan McKinnon's impact on the ice, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. Suze, what do you think?
I think the Avalanche are going to just stay afloat. They have 2 regulation losses all year long.
Yeah, both on the road, too.
One to the New York Islanders, by the way. But it's just, I feel like the Avalanche are just a consistently better team. The goaltending is shaky. I don't know if the Avalanche can keep it up in net.
You know what's interesting about the Avs to me? Just looking at stats right now. 0-4 in shootout.
Ooh, they struggle.
Yeah.
They have a talented team. The
which is
roster's
very
there.
interesting, yeah. That they are 0-4 in shootouts so far this season.
And we all talk about Nathan McKinnon.
Lucky for them, there's no shootouts in the playoffs.
I was going to say, there's no shootouts in the playoffs, so they don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We all talk about Nathan McKinnon, but Marty Necas has been incredible this year. This Avalanche team, so much depth scoring-wise from everyone around. They're just too dominant, in my opinion. They're going to win the Central pretty easily.
I think they're going to win the Central. I think they're going to win the Cup. I have a really hard... I don't want it to happen. I have a hard time picking against this Colorado team. just based on on paper and what we're seeing so far, and just the dominance that they're doing it with. And yeah, they're a scary team that I confidently think is going to be winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Remember when the Hurricanes traded Marty Necas for Mikko Rantanen and couldn't even keep him?
I do.
When we were talking about the Avs and the Stars conversation, it's like the Hurricanes are actually the biggest loser out of all of this for losing both of those players.
Yep.
It's incredible how they were able to do that.
My main thing is with the Avalanche is this goaltending duo. It's been awesome.
It has.
But could they keep this up for the rest of the year? That's the biggest story versus the Stars when they have Onger playing phenomenal, as he always is.
I think we've reached a point in the season where
I don't know.
we say, can they keep it up? But we're almost at the halfway point. Like, I feel like if they're proving it now, I'm confident that they can the rest of the year. Like, I just said that about the Ducks, where it's like, I am surprised that they're still this good. But at this point in the year, when you're, 30 games in and at 39 points, they're looking pretty good. Like, you've reached so far into the season where if you fall off, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
It's no longer a hot start, it's a collapse.
God.
The other thing with the Avs, too, they have a 30-goal defenseman. How is that even
Yeah.
fair? How do they have a defenseman that can just score 30 goals a year?
Yeah.
This team is absolutely ridiculous top to bottom. Like, Gabe Landeskog hasn't even done anything this year, really, and they are still sitting here with 2 regulation losses. This is without a doubt the best team in the league, and I have no doubt they're going to keep it up. We're almost halfway through the season. They're without a doubt the Cup favorites. So they're on pace for, 5 regulation losses this season? That'd be the greatest season we've ever seen in the history of this league.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really the Avs and the Stars for me in the West right now, and not a whole lot else.
I don't think Anaheim's going to do good in the playoffs.
No, I don't
Although
think-
their future is really bright.
It is. I think, you could get a Blackhawks-Ducks conference finals in a few years.
That's like 2013.
2015.
Is that right?
2013,
Yeah,
14,
you're right.
15, all over again.
My team of the week is also in the Western Conference, and that's a team we've already talked about, the Edmonton Oilers. They got 5 points this week in just 3 games, but the offense has been what shined. We already talked about that's what's carrying them because the goaltending's been a little questionable, averaging 6 goals a game in those 3 games, putting up with 9 goals against Seattle. They're in that last wild card spot, and Connor McDavid is second in both points and assists. Do we think Edmonton is back? We've talked about it earlier, but solidify it. Is Edmonton back?
The goal scoring is back,
Yes.
The goaltending was never even close to being even close to back. They've never even had goaltending. They weren't even there. It's all about Edmonton's goal scoring. McDavid is producing again. Draisaitl's producing again. It's just been awesome to see this Oilers team. So much talent from top to bottom. And they're finally producing. Evan Bouchard's producing. Nugent Hopkins. Jack Roslovic is even getting in there. This Oilers team is back scoring-wise.
All right, I want to ask you something about Stuart Skinner. Do you think that let me pull it up, that a 291 goals against average and an 887 save percentage is good enough for this team that has such a good offense?
No. I think goaltending always outweighs offense in the playoffs.
I agree.
We've seen it with Florida the last couple of years.
291 isn't a terrible
But it's
goals.
just a save
The
percentage.
save percentage is so
Save
bad.
percentage
If
is
you
awful.
watch the games, you could just see some of the goals he gives up, and they're absolutely ridiculous that he lets them go in the
Okay,
back of the
then
net.
follow-up question. Do they make a move to get a goaltender?
Yes.
And is it at the deadline or earlier?
Ooh.
Are we going to wait until March to see the Oilers pick their goalie, or are we going to see it sooner, as in the next month or two?
I think we're going to see it sooner rather than later.
I agree.
Because they can't wait. Not the Pacific in general, but the Western Conference itself is so, it's in a big there's a big race going on top to bottom, and they need to stay afloat. And if you don't have a top goaltender, you're going to be out of it quickly.
When you're clinging to that last wild card spot and you're still 2 games behind the Kings for the last spot in the Pacific, there's not a whole lot of comfortability that you're feeling as the Oilers right now. So I'm going to expect them to make a move sooner rather than later, just because they can't really afford to just stay afloat because they have to really make a jump.
You're on a 3-game win streak. Do it now. Do it before you get in another slump. Don't, because if you get another slump, you're going to panic and then maybe give up too much for a goaltender. So do it now while you're on a win streak and really get on a roll from here.
And Calvin Pickard has looked absolutely atrocious.
Oh, my God.
There's not even been a second option. You just start Stuart Skinner because you have to.
Connor Ingram must be really bad if they haven't called him up yet.
I've heard he's not doing great in the minors.
Okay, so I guess
I wouldn't be surprised. Like we hype up this trade deadline that's approaching with all the goaltenders that could be moved. I would not be surprised if Edmonton disappoints in that regard. where
They do this every year.
what we want from them is get a backup goalie that's been having a great season. I won't be surprised if they get, a Linus Ullmark type of guy where it's like he's been proven, but on a struggling team. Like the way that this Edmonton team has performed, as a organization, I don't expect them to do the right thing. I might expect them to do the safe thing, and that's get a veteran as opposed to a backup.
And it's the same question with the Toronto Maple Leafs too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The goal scoring is there, but they just can't protect the net.
We could have saw 5 straight Oilers Leafs Cup finals if either one of them just had a goaltender.
Yeah, if either one just produced solid defense
Yep.
and an above average goaltender, we would have saw that Stanley Cup final for like a decade.
Yep.
And it's the exact same with Ottawa too. It's like
Yeah.
all the candidates, all the good
Yeah.
What are
Canada
they
teams
doing?
can't keep the puck out of their net.
I don't think Ottawa's going to stay relevant. I think I've decided
they're gone.
I think they're going to fall, which is why I think that Linus Ullmark could be moved if anybody wants him.
I could see Elvis Lincoln, same case. But the Blue Jackets are more in the race than the Senators are, in my opinion, too.
Yeah. All right, where are we at? We are at not team of the week. Jack, you want to go first?
Sure, I will. Well, I'm just going to stay right with the Senators because they are my not team of the week. Just basically as bad of a week as you can have if you're the Senators. 3 regulation losses on home ice.
It's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, to 3 teams that they should have absolutely beaten. The Rangers, 4-2. They are better than the Rangers. Their roster is better. They're more healthy. The Blues, they're better than the Blues. I'm sure Noah, you'll agree with me on
Yes,
that.
everybody's better than the Blues.
Lost 2-1. Okay, maybe not the
Sabres.
Predators.
Not the Flames.
Not the Predators.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a 4-3 home loss to New Jersey without Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Devils were on, I believe, a 6-game losing streak before that game. And obviously the goaltending is the huge problem here. Neither Linus Ullmark nor Levi Merrilainen have been good at all in net this year. Like they are not even startable with the way
agree.
they've been playing. Like at least Stuart Skinner, you can at least start him and hope for the best. You can't even start these guys and expect to win games. They've been that bad. I think Ottawa's another team like Edmonton. They need to address this now. They cannot wait any longer before they fall out of a playoff spot, especially in a loaded division. Like Edmonton doesn't play in a loaded division, but Ottawa
Right.
does.
Yeah.
So I think it gives Ottawa even more of an emphasis to make a move at goaltender. And again, 3 losses on home ice. That simply doesn't cut it. And it's not just this week. They've lost 5 of their last 6 as a team, and those are all regulation losses. The goaltending is killing them. 4 goals, 6 goals, 4 goals, 2 goals, and 4 goals in those 5 losses they have.
Thing about Ottawa for me is that it's kind of, it's a two-way street where when you're looking at the standings, they're only 5 points out of a wild card spot, and they have a roster that the fans were expecting to perform.
They were a playoff team last year.
They were. And so 5 points out of a wild card spot does not feel like a tall task, but you're also in 9th in that wild card race. And so it sounds easy to, gain 5 points on Philly by the end of the year, but you're also going to have to gain points on Columbus and Toronto and Florida and Montreal and New York and New Jersey. There are 8 teams, or there's 7 teams that they have to be better than in the coming weeks in order to be a playoff spot.
My problem is with Ottawa, we're seeing a lot of production from Stutzel, Batherson, Pinto, and Cousins, but we're not seeing anyone else.
No.
Those guys have 9+ each, and we're not seeing no David Perron, no Claude Giroux, no Zetterlund. Like, this team is lacking depth, in my opinion, and it shows.
And they're still a 500 team, which is what's impeccable. Like they're playing mediocre to average hockey. They just aren't competing in the ways that we expect them to.
I don't think their success is sustainable. This team is entirely reliant on the power play. Their
Yeah.
power play is great. It's 5th best in the league. They don't score at even strength. They have the 2nd worst penalty killing in the league, and their goaltending might be the worst in the league. So I don't think it's sustainable in a tough division.
Neither goalie is giving up less than 3 goals a game right now.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Especially because last year, goaltending is what took them to the
Right.
playoffs.
Yep.
With the same 2 goaltenders, too, I should mention. And now this year, they're both awful. I don't know what's going on in Ottawa. They need to figure this out real quickly, though. Otherwise, they're going to fall out of the playoffs. Actually, they already have. They're going to stay out of the playoffs.
I firmly believe they are not a playoff team.
I don't think so either.
But I like them, so I want
It's
them.
a fun group of
I want them
guys.
to succeed, and it's guys that I like, and it's a city that I'll root for because it's Ottawa. Like I don't have anything against Ottawa, but the East is just so good this year.
Stacked.
Yeah. Zeus, who was your not team of this week?
So my not team of the week, I was really high on this team at the start of the year, the Utah Mammoth. They have fallen off a cliff lately.
Absolutely.
Losing to Calgary, losing to the Kings, and losing to the red-hot Florida Panthers. So where do the Utah Mammoth go from here? Their schedule coming up is Seattle, Pittsburgh, Boston, Detroit, New Jersey. It's not the easiest. It's not the hardest. I don't know what the problem is with this Utah team, but in my opinion, I think it's just goal scoring. Clay and Keller, their guys have been awesome. You're getting production from everybody. But it's just like, I think it's the goaltending.
The thing about Utah that stood out to me was that at the start of the year, the offense was just so hot, and that's what carried them to some degree.
Falling off.
And it's interesting, like the 6 teams that are in the top 3 for their division in the West right now, all positive goal differentials as you expect. Neither wildcard team has a positive goal differential, and neither team that's in the hunt has a positive, except for Utah. They're still a team that's scoring more than they're giving up, which is what is reassuring for them, and they have the potential to be a team that's a high-power offense, but it's just a cold streak right now, so I'm excited to see if they pick it up, but this is a team kind of like San Jose, where they have pieces, they have a well-built roster. I just don't think it's the year.
Noah, do you remember our conversation early on the season about how they have no production at left wing?
Yes.
Yeah, their top
There
left
it
winger
is.
has 13 points in
Yes.
32 games. He's on pace for about 30 points this season.
Yep.
You're not going to win if you have no production out of your left winger, especially one in your top 6. This is a very top-heavy team in terms of production, but even then, remember Nick Schmaltz was one of the point leaders early on in the season. He's completely fallen off.
He was at one point, I thought. Yeah. I thought he was top of the league in points.
He
was top
was
5.
very close. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was he was player of the week at least
Yes, he
once.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, Clayton Keller has been fine, but not that great. Dylan Gunther's okay. They're just the Mammoth are just okay. They don't have any stars on this
They're just
offense.
mid. They're just
Exactly.
mid.
The goaltending's bad though. I will say that this goaltending, which was pretty good at the start of the season, they've just completely fallen off a cliff.
It's so strange to me that the teams that we've been picking the past few, like there hasn't been any teams that just fall off the planet in a week because you're only going to play 3 or 4 games in a week.
Yeah.
And so the teams that we were always picking as not team of the week are still teams that they have a very legit chance of being a good team. Like
But it's just the fact that they've had a bad 3 or 4 games.
Yes, but Utah is a point out of a playoff spot.
Yes.
Like it's
still
not
there.
even it's not even close to over for Utah, and I think that they can still make a run for that last wild card spot. Especially once Edmonton bounces the Kings for the 3rd spot in the Pacific, and the Kings are going to fall off a cliff, I believe. That last spot's going to be wide open for a team like Utah.
The wild, wild west is wide open. It's wild.
And as long as Winnipeg keeps, messing around and not
Playing hockey.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Winnipeg. We talked about them last week. They just aren't being the team that we expect at all.
I think
and
they'll
they
bounce
have
back.
29 points, and they are the 4th team out.
I think they're going to bounce back at some point. It's coming. You're getting contributions from everybody on that team. I just don't know what I think Hellebuck being injured is a main cause of it. But I think they're going to bounce back when he comes back.
I don't see Utah as a playoff team.
I don't
I think the top 4 in the Central stay exactly the same, and I think either the Jets or even the Blues will overtake Utah by the end of the season.
Who was saying it recently? There was somebody I saw on social that said the Blues are going to be a playoff. It was from like NHL Network or somebody.
It's not. It's not
not a bad
impossible.
take.
They're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now.
The goaltending is just so bad. Like I almost put that as what I want for Christmas as the opener is I want vintage Jordan Binnington back because he's just so inconsistent.
He's gonna come back at some point. We know
He'll
it.
be here.
But Joel Hofer's been equally inconsistent. Like if you're Jim Montgomery and you're picking who your starting goaltender is that night, you're flipping a coin every night on which one's going to be good because neither one is good at the same time.
Yeah, I think the Blues they're gonna have this 1 point. They do it every year. They have like a 6 to 8 game winning streak, sometimes even more than that.
Yeah.
And I think that will propel them into a playoff spot. And even if they go like 500 the rest of the season after that, I think that'll be enough to keep them in a playoff spot.
I believe that if the Blues are going to be relevant, they have to do it by the end of January. I think if
It's possible.
my birthday is on January 31st, if I don't think that the Blues are a good team by then, I'm giving up on the season.
2019, January 3rd, they were in last place in the whole league. And then look what happened.
It's
So,
true.
yeah.
Yep. All right. My not team of the week, we're going to go over to the Eastern Conference and the New Jersey Devils, who have had the opposite kind of week that Edmonton had. I talked about Edmonton's excellent goal scoring. New Jersey's just not doing it as of recent. They went 1-2 this week. They just got a win the other night, so they have redeemed themselves in that regard. 1-5 in their past 6. 3 of these games as of recent. At home against Dallas, 0 goals. At home against Vegas, 0 goals. In Boston, 1 goal. They aren't scoring. Jack Hughes hasn't played in a month, and he's not expected back for another month.
Oh,
It's a bad place to be for New Jersey right now.
This is a team that we were talking about being first in the Metro. And the problem is every year Jack Hughes deals with an injury, and the Devils just fall off the face of the earth. And we're seeing it again.
Yep.
This team on paper is not good enough without Jack Hughes to keep up where they were at the start of the year, which was first place in the Metro.
And what's incredible about Jack Hughes is like start of the season, 17 games, 10 goals, 10 assists. Like started out as hot as you probably can start if you're a 24-year-old for New Jersey, but the injuries kill, and nobody on the Devils is stepping up. There's a lot of guys that are built to be that supporting cast for Jack Hughes, but when you're missing the centerpiece, you don't compete.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Nico Hischier has not been the same. Timo Meyer has been really inconsistent. Dawson Mercer has been pretty bad.
Yep.
It's just, it goes on and on and on. And then you look at the goaltending. Jacob Markstrom has not been that good as of late. Jake Allen's been incredible.
There was a point when I didn't really watch hockey, so like pre-2019 is like when I got into hockey. That Blues run got me into it. Before that, I would still say I was a Blues fan, and Jake Allen on the Blues was a guy that I knew. I knew the name Jake Allen, and he is really showing up this year, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jake Allen's been great for the Devils. He's been the key point in net when Markstrom has not been playing well. So they're going to rely a lot on Allen to pick up the load in net. But if you're not scoring goals, you're not winning hockey games at the end of the day.
No.
Just looking at some of these numbers, it's just shocking. I mean, since Jack Hughes got hurt, the Devils went from having a top 5 penalty kill. They're bottom 10 in the league now. That's unfathomable. I can't even believe that's happened. I mean, you just look at some of these offensive players who aren't producing. I think I'm reading this correctly. Stefan Nason, who's usually a pretty solid contributor in the bottom 6, has 3 points in 24 games. That's really bad. I mean, this is a guy who's been one of Carolina's most underrated contributors. First season with the Devils, 3 points in 24 games. I don't even know how that's...
He's also leading the league in penalty minutes.
Nason? Oh, my God, yeah.
27.
Goodness gracious. I don't even know how you could play him with the way he's doing that. But we talked about it last week. There's just nobody on this team who could carry the load of the offense like Jack Hughes does. And with the way they're playing, we've seen that happen. And I just think that even when Jack Hughes comes back, I think they'll be as good as they were before when Jack Hughes comes back. But I think it's going to be too late for them to make a division run because I think Washington and Carolina are going to separate themselves so far that the Devils won't be able to come back and win the division.
I don't think they'll win the division, but I do think that by the time he comes back, they will be close enough
to the wild
card. Close enough to the Islanders or the Penguins that they'll take that third spot.
I still think they'll make the playoffs. No questions asked.
I think they're a wild card team.
Do you think that they make the playoffs if they're not the 3 seed in the Metro? Do you?
Yes.
Really? I have a hard time.
No, I don't.
I have a hard time not taking both playoff teams from the East both wild card teams out of the East out of the Atlantic.
I have the same thought as you do.
I think when 7 out of the 8 teams in the Atlantic are a good team, or a team that I think can be good, I have a hard time not thinking that 5 of them can be playoff teams.
Yeah.
Compared to the Metro, where I don't think the Flyers are that good, I don't think the Rangers are that good, I don't think the Jackets are that good, I don't think the Penguins are going to sustain it. Islanders are solid, Canes are solid, Capitals are solid, Devils will be good.
I think, like we said, this point of the season, the Capitals, I think the Capitals are going to keep it up. They're not going to win the division. They'll get second or third. I think the Hurricanes are going to win that division.
Yeah.
And I think the Islanders are going to be a playoff team. I can see the Devils getting the top wild card, and then I see a battle, an absolute war going on for that last and final wild card spot between Montreal, Florida, Toronto, and the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Rangers will be in there. I think they're going to fall by the end of the season.
I firmly agree with you, Jack. The Rangers will not be a playoff team.
Yeah, I love the Rangers. They're my team, but they're just Adam Fox is out. They just can't do anything without Adam Fox in there. That defense just can't play without him.
I don't think that the Flyers stay relevant either.
They're toast.
No, they're like I don't see it either.
Really, I only see 3 teams in the Metro, and that's the Capitals, Canes, and Devils.
Yeah, remember before it was the Canes, the Devils, and the Blue Jackets, but the Blue Jackets have just sucked. Yep. I'm done saying they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I mean, they were beating Florida by like 3 goals, and then they lost. If they had won that game, I thought they were going to start to turn around, but now that they're just not going to make it.
All right. What are we looking forward to for the next week? And realistically, I could have made this, when we wrote the rundown, what are you looking forward to for the next month? Because we're not going to have a show for about 4 weeks, but what are you looking forward to in the next week, Seuss?
So the next week, we have the top 2 teams in the Metropolitan in my division going head-to-head today. We have the Canes and the Capitals. These teams are solid first place in the Metro right now on the line, I think these teams end the year first 2 spots in the Metro. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Jack, yours is a game that I really wanted to pick.
Yeah, and so I'm going to give some love to the Islanders. I think these are the 2 most surprising teams in the league so far this year. We got the Ducks facing the Islanders tonight at 7 at the UBS Arena. This is going to be an awesome game. The Islanders don't really lose at home, so I think this is going to be a really good challenge for Anaheim, a team that's won 3 games in a row, a team that has maintained the top spot in the Pacific all year. You got so many exciting young players in this game. Schaefer, Gauthier, Leo Carlson. This is going to be a really fun game, and I don't know who's going to win, but I think both of these teams have a chance to be surprises by the end of the season, teams who could make Cinderella runs in the playoffs.
My game I'm looking forward to in a very biased way is Blues Blackhawks. The rivalry comes back next week, or this week on Friday, make that. Yeah, it's a game that I think there's 2 results that the teams are looking for. The Blues, obviously, are looking for a win, try to stay relevant. But if you're the Blackhawks and you're playing a Blues team that is injured, that lacks depth, that has goaltending issues, you got to blow them out. If the Blackhawks do not blow out St. Louis, then they should be scared for the rest of the season because they can't hang with the rest of the division.
Exactly.
All right. Any closing thoughts?
I just got one quick thing to say about David Stearns and the New York Mets.
No, you don't. Wrong show. Save it for March.
Fire David Stearns, please.
I second that opinion
I kind of forgot you're a Mets fan, Jack. You don't talk about it as often.
because it's not baseball season.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not baseball season. It's been a slow off season, but I guess my close thought: Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and so on and so forth. We'll see you back in January. This has been the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. I'm Noah Bedoris with Jack Rizzo and Noah Seuss. We'll see you soon.